Hey everybody, this is John and Jackie of OpenLove101.com, and today we're going to answer a question from one of our viewers. Are there any lessons you learned from swinging and applied successfully in other aspects of your life or your relationship? That's a tough question. But
read that again?
Yeah, we talked about a little bit. Are there any lessons you learned from swinging and applied to other aspects of your life?
That's a good question.
It is. Off the cuff, I can think of a couple of things. One of the major things that we've dealt with and a lot of swingers do early on and throughout their relationship, no matter if you're in a swinging relationship or a traditional non-monogamous relationship, or monogamous relationship, actually, it would be a traditional monogamous relationship, would be fear and jealousy. And I think in a swinging relationship, we have much more of an opportunity to confront that than we do in other types of relationships. Normally in a traditional relationship, when we have jealousy, we'll label it as that, we won't even dig down into it and see that there's fear involved there. The fear may be triggering this feeling we're having we call jealousy. We just tell the person don't do that anymore, you get in a fight and you move on.
Right.
And whereas in our relationship model, when one of us has that feeling of fear, ooh, I don't like the way that's making me feel seeing you kiss that guy, we talk about it.
We do.
And I think that's something we've learned in this type of relationship model. And we've applied that in all aspects of our life, though. I've seen you have fear of things, and you have overcome them by walking through your fear, as opposed to continually just accepting the fact that, okay, I'm afraid of heights.
Right.
Most people just accept they're afraid of heights and don't ever do anything about it. But you've taken the steps to overcome some of those fears that you have that just happened.
That's such a great point. And I know for me, like you said, a lot of times the way we're raised, we're taught certain things, and we're led to believe that we're to accept certain ways in which to tackle an issue. And when you're given another opportunity or another choice in which to handle something, not only can it be exciting, but it can be a little difficult initially, like handling fears or jealousy. If I look back on my life, a lot of those fears, like you said, I would just halt at a certain point, and I thought, well, that's just the way it is. And what the swinging lifestyle enabled me to do was to realize, like you said, you can go past that point. You can dig into it and really find out what is that fear. Find out if it's valid, or, if it's almost like a false fear. Like, I'm afraid because of what I think might happen, not what has happened, and deal with it from that point. So I think swinging definitely has taught me how to branch out of my fears and into solutions, which is much more productive than just kind of wallowing around in those fears. For sure.
Yeah, it is. And in our relationship, when you decide to have a relationship like we have, it forces you to confront these issues. Otherwise, you're going to just do like we did before and just brush everything under the rug.
Right.
And the other area of our lives, I think that being in this type of relationship has really helped us is how we react to things. So when I have a fear, one of my personal fears for many years is the fear of abandonment, fear that someone's going to leave me. And, the way I used to react to that fear would be, maybe get really angry or mad about something and try and deflect it. I don't want to feel that way anymore. So I would find another way so I wouldn't have to feel like that. And then I'd end up feeling bad about the way I was reacting. And we're just acting. But Jackie and I, through having to communicate about things and being honest with each other about how we, she doesn't like it when I get angry like that, or I don't like it when she just goes away and doesn't talk to me for 6 hours. I miss talking to her after. It's only 10 minutes. So, but we've learned how to communicate and maybe change the way we've reacted to things, right? And I think that's directly a result of this.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. I think before, the way we would respond to something would be a reaction to what's going on instead of just a response to what's going on. And, I'm not saying it's swinging specifically, that caused that, but because we're in the swinging lifestyle and those types of responses are encouraged, it's been a result. And so being in the swinging lifestyle has altered how I respond to those things. It has changed how I handle my fears. It has changed how we deal with situations that initially would have made us uncomfortable and kept us from the true issue of what was going on. So those are benefits that John and I have seen from being in the swinging lifestyle. I mean, what would be something else?
I don't know. Let me think about it a second here. That means she was done with that thought, and now she wants me to come up with something to talk about. I mean, communicating. I mean, I think we've kind of touched upon that, but I think learning how to communicate better through our swinger lifestyle has enabled us to be able to communicate with you, for instance. I mean, I'd never spoken to a camera like this before and had a conversation, with our followers like this,
right,
before we got into this, into the lifestyle, and
it's probably made me a little more confident in who I am.
That's a good one, yeah.
From a sexual standpoint, being a woman growing up in the era that I did, and in the belief system that I did, I would not have been able to embrace this experimenting that, John probably had more of a freedom to do. And I'm not saying that all men, just because they're men, have more freedom to explore their sexuality, because that's stereotyping. And I definitely don't want to do that, because there's going to be plenty of men out there that are going to be like, oh, hold up. I wasn't able to explore mine either because of the way I grew up. But again, I guess, what I'm saying is being introduced to the swinging lifestyle and being encouraged to try some things out, see if I like them, that, I don't have to carry around any kind of guilt or shame. All of those things, I can put those down finally, after all of these years, and just really be confident in what I have to offer, not just other people, but myself. So that's been really empowering. And I really have the swinging lifestyle to thank for that. Mm-hmm. So, and, and the affirmation that I received from my partner in trying new things. And again, I'm not saying that you aren't going to find these same avenues through other relationship models that you find, but to answer this specific question about what the swinging lifestyle has done for us, I mean, those are just a few, I think, of the things that have.
Another big one would be having friendships with people of the opposite sex.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah, because I know in some of your past relationships or marriage, you weren't really able to have male friends, but you seem really comfortable having male friends.
Well, again, I think, that it probably has something to do with the way I was raised and my comfortableness and just being in that environment, and denying myself the opportunity to form some friendships, not just with my own gender, but to be able to have friendships with men that are going to offer insight for me as well. I think we really do ourselves a disservice when we do that, just because of fears that we have, mm-hmm, or teachings that we've been given from, when we were small. I think that's a great point.
Yes. And for me, to be given the freedom from you to be able to have those same kind of, the friendships with the women that I have friendships with.
Right.
It's, I've been in relationships before where I wasn't allowed to have, and I know this is hard for you to believe, but that someone would deny anyone from having friends of the opposite sex. But I was in some relationships like that, and they were really difficult because I really love people, and I love talking to people no matter who they are, and to feel guilty or like, oh, I'm not supposed to be talking to this person because she's hot. I don't know. I don't really like going through life that way. I love this a lot more, where Jackie gives me the freedom to just have friends. It doesn't matter who they are. And it's one of the great, one of the big pluses, I think, of being in this open, swinger relationship, open lifestyle.
Well, and I think, like you said, I think that's one of the benefits of being in the swinging relationship model, and how we're able to carry that over in just our day-to-day life is we're able to have these friendships with everybody, not just other swingers, but just our life in general. I mean, we don't have a fear of, I can't talk to this person because of how it might be perceived. So I think that's a great point.
So keep those difficult questions coming. It gets us thinking and gives us more material to talk to you about. So
yeah, and if you think of anything, give us some feedback on these.
Absolutely. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at openlove101.com. And we'll send you our upcoming blogs and videos. In the meantime, have a great time and see ya. Got a big day tonight? You want to make sure you get lots of great sex? And subscribe below. Or you may not. Jackie.